Talk about the tweet from the WBC in a second, but Bob Arum's come out tonight and says he wants to do Fury Wilder 3 in February.
Well, if he does, then I think that fight should be cancelled. I think that DILLIAN Whyte should be enforced immediately as the mandatory for Tyson Fury. You know, we've already got a deadline of end of February. Why can't they do the fight? Yes, we know there's a pandemic where Joshua's fighting. You know, all the other major fights are going to take place, so I don't see how that's even an argument. So if that's the case, we'll be pushing hard to make sure that actually we could do Tyson Fury against DILLIAN Whyte now. We'll do it on pay-per-view. It's a monstrous fight. Does up 1.5 million,
Where?
2 million buys. Anywhere.
Here?
Saudi, here. Oh, here. Don't make, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Because honestly, like, you know, all right.
But you want a gate for that, surely?
Yeah, you do, but the pay-per-view numbers are huge for that fight. So that's a big fight, you know. So why not do that now? But he's got to beat Povetkin.
Why do you think Bob said that? Is it because of the tweet from the WBC today?
Maybe.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Edward Hearns wants Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury canceled so Fury could fight DILLIAN Whyte. That was a good one. That was a good one, Ed. That was a good one, Edward. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's jump into it. You guys heard the clip at the beginning. Edward Hearns. He says he wants the fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury canceled. He said, cancel that. I'll buy another one. Nino Brown voice. He wants the fight over. He doesn't think it should happen because Bob Arum came out in a recent interview with SiriusXM, and Bob Arum stated that the Wilder Fury 3 fight could get pushed back to February. So Eddie Hearn's contending that even though we're in the pandemic, we should still see that fight this year in December. And DILLIAN Whyte is sick of waiting, so somehow Wilder Fury trilogy should be canceled. I mean, this is just pure absurdity. This is pure absolute delusion from Eddie Hearn. First of all, Bob Arum is trying to get Tyson Fury franchised. That's for starters. Book it. So even in the event that Fury fights Wilder and he beats him, he's trying to get him franchised. He's pretty well said that, right? So that could hurt because we know Canelo and Lomachenko, the existing WBC franchise champions, you know, DILLIAN Whyte wouldn't have to fight. Now, the WBC, you know, they've been threatened by Eddie Hearn and DILLIAN Whyte with legal action, so maybe they wouldn't be accepting of a franchise champion and wouldn't allow for it to happen because DILLIAN Whyte has put up a fuss about waiting 1,000 days and all this stuff. Possible. However, why would Eddie Hearn infer or believe that Wilder Fury would be canceled? And you have to keep in mind the WBC did rule that, I did a video about it. WBC did say that DILLIAN Whyte was the mandatory. I think I did a video the same day the news broke. Fury Wilder, right? So I did do videos talking about that, right? And the thing about that, WBC orders to defend, I'm trying to find the older articles as I type, but it doesn't matter. You guys can look it up. The WBC did say he has to fight by February 2021, right? However, here's the situation. This was stated before we went into a global pandemic, which is something the world has not seen. It's a brand new decade. It's been a rough 2020 around the world. You know, prayers go out to Lebanon and Beirut for their recent tragedy. It's just been a lot of stuff, So Eddie Hearn to me sounds delusional, and he sounds like he's trying to play spoiler and dictate what happens, but I don't see that working out for him, and I think he's getting ahead of himself. Boxing is such a fickle sport, especially the heavyweight division. One punch can change everything. So when you start making too many plans and jumping ahead of yourself like this, bad things can happen. Dillian Whyte has a scheduled opponent with Alexander Povetkin. The world thought, like, how does Eddie Hearn as a promoter not have the forward thinking or the filter to not keep putting out statements like this before, like, counting the eggs before they hatch type of mentality? The whole world was anticipating Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. But before that was ever realized and could materialize, Joshua lost to a guy he wasn't supposed to lose to. So I know Eddie Hearn made the Dillian Whyte fight with Povetkin because Povetkin is 41 years old. Joshua knocked him out. He keeps giving Dillian Whyte Joshua's leftovers, like Povetkin, like Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker fought Dillian Whyte coming off of the AJ loss. AJ in 2017 or whatever it was, 18, whenever he fought him, he knocked out Povetkin. Michael Hunter, who's no longer with Rematch Room, in my opinion, really beat Povetkin. So unless Povetkin, the odds are going to be with Dillian Whyte. So this is why the fight was made. But it's still heavyweight boxing. Povetkin, he has power. He knows this is probably going to be one of his last opportunities to make a big statement at his age and stuff like that. Another knockout loss would be damaging. So we have to see how that fight plays out before we move on to anything. And you have this man, Eddie Hearn, talk. He just sounds so desperate. It's sad. He's constantly talking about Showtime and obsessed with Showtime and PBC and Fox and really everybody else's business. It's almost scary. It's like Stan or something. Like, dear PBC, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, pager, and my home phone at the bottom. Like, it's becoming twisted. So I just feel like Dillian Whyte has to get past Povetkin. Eddie Hearn, he seems also delusional because he's under the impression that Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury is the desired fight, where it's a solid fight, but he's talking about 1.5 million. I don't know, possibly in the UK because they're both British fights, but that's the only location that is heavily or would be heavily vested in a fight like that. Stateside, that's not a big fight. So it's all about Eddie Hearn. It's all about Rematch Room. It's not really about the boxing fan, because globally, I don't think people even care about Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury like that. People would rather soon see other fights, right? And he's just so quick to try to dismiss Deontay Wilder and say, oh, nobody wants to see that, or Wilder should step aside. Eddie Hearn is like trying to do the same magic trick over and over and over, and he's making mistakes. You can see where he's hid the secret card, and it's just looking rather sloppy, in my honest opinion. You have to handle one order of business. And the reason I say sloppy is you have to look at situations like this. As soon as Tyson Fury beat Wilder, Eddie Hearn started doing interviews, 1 million interviews, saying that Joshua and Fury could happen this year. And he started clout chasing, making it look like Anthony Joshua, his other fighter, could fight Tyson Fury. Now he looks so desperate because Joshua met up in Marbella with Tyson Fury, or had that secret encounter that was supposed to be random. They're both randomly in Spain or wherever. And now the whole directive is switched to Tyson Fury should fight Dillian Whyte in his backyard, and Wilder should be canceled. And again, it just sounds foolish, because why would the WBC, who said that Dillian Whyte has been waiting and they'll call for the fight February 2021, why would they not take into consideration a global pandemic? So everybody, all of live sports was canceled for a period of time, 4 to 6 months, before people could even host events with or without a crowd. And he's saying that if Wilder Fury 3 gets slated to February 2021, he's saying that's my month that Dillian Whyte was supposed to fight Tyson Fury, so they should cancel the fight. He's just not in that position of power. I think it's the WBC, it's their belt. I don't know if you guys ever have read like the sanctioning bodies, but they pretty much have veto power to oversee what happens with their belt. They have a committee, a team of people, and they can vote on whatever and do whatever they want, basically, as long as the committee votes and they have a hearing and the due process, and it's for the greater good of boxing, or supposed to be for the greater good of boxing. So either way, Wilder Fury 3, that's a contract. I don't see how Eddie Hearn, it's funny because Eddie Hearn, he actually reminds me of Trump in some ways, like spoiled rich kind of behavior, spoiled rich kid behavior or something. He wants the WBC to honor the February 2021 and act totally oblivious to the fact that there's a pandemic. So you might have to have some type of grace period, right? So why are you mad if Wilder Fury 3 happens in February? Once again, it's all about Eddie Hearn. It's all about rematch room. And it's not really about the fans. Nobody cares about this fight but a couple British fans and Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? And he's steady trying to, like, it just looks delusional and it looks desperate because he's trying to force people to have interest. Tyson Fury himself has fronted on Dillian Whyte. He doesn't sound too keen. He said, I mean, Tyson Fury, to his credit, or, you know, he says he doesn't want to fight, but then he'll say he'll fight Dillian Whyte. He says, hold on, let me find. I'm not interested in fighting you, see? So he's been all over the place. But all we do know is Wilder has a contract. Look, I'm not interested in fighting you. Tyson Fury sends Dillian Whyte a message. That was from June. So it's just, there's so many things at play here. It's really not up to Eddie Hearn. You have Top Rank, you have Frank Warren, you have Bob Arum, you have the WBC, you have situational things like a global pandemic that has to be taken into consideration, right? And you have Deontay Wilder, you have Shelly Finkel, you have Al Heyman, and Eddie Hearn, for some reason, like a spoiled rich kid, feels that he should just be able to move everyone out the way and say, hey, we could do this fight in the backyard. That fight Wilder Fury should be canceled. They have history. They have a draw in the first fight. Tyson Fury won the second fight. There's some different controversies with Glovegate and different things. So Wilder contractually has the right to try to avenge that loss. And Eddie Hearn thinks for some reason he's going to stop that and stop that process. Nobody cares about Dillian Whyte getting the opportunity, you know, and he didn't even care because he was talking about earlier this year. He was talking about Joshua fighting Fury, and the conversation wasn't even about Dillian Whyte, you know. But beyond that, like I said, when promoters and boxing entities try to get ahead of themselves, usually bad things happen. You know, Dillian Whyte has failed a drug test before, so he got to stay clean and make sure that nothing like that comes up. He got to get past Alexander Povetkin. I don't know how. He got to stay safe and not get sick like some of the fighter Jorge Linares just tested positive. You know what I'm saying? So in a world that's so unpredictable right now, unprecedented things are happening, and Eddie Hearn's always trying to reroute the conversation to be about him and what he got going on. He's always worried about Showtime, always worried about Fox, PBC, Manny Pacquiao's career and Broner's career and what the Charlos are doing. You know, it gets old. It gets real old. And the UK media and UK fans, they keep backing it so they can enjoy it. Tyson Fury, he's on record saying he don't even want to fight Dillian Whyte, you know? So we have to see how it all plays out. But Wilder Fury, he has a contract, so I don't really care what Eddie Hearn's talking about. It looks like no matter what, if Wilder is pushing for that, then that fight will happen. But again, Dillian Whyte has to get past his own scheduled fight. You know, he's talking about it'll do Dillian Whyte and Fury will do 1.5 million. You know, it's just so much that can't be planned right now. And then Eddie Hearn's trying to, again, like hate on and rain on someone else's parade because he's not involved in the conversation. Wilder Fury, he's not getting no money from that. You know what I mean? Last time Sky Sports, the company he works with in DAZN, they had nothing to do with Wilder Fury 2. You know, this was an ESPN and Fox deal, and then BT Sport won the bid. So you can see why, once again, Eddie Hearn is hating because he's not making money with that. So he don't care about the greater good of boxing or, you know, what the fans want. It's all about me, you know, and me being included in the pie, in the pot. And I don't think, you know, I don't think you should be that much of a hater ever in life where that's the reality. And he also made a statement like, why can't they fight in December? Bro, who are you? Like, they got to answer to you why they don't fight in December 19th. That's the next order of business. The pandemic pushed it out. So we'll see. You know, he acting like people have to answer to him. And he said Joshua and Pulev are fighting. That's also a fight nobody cares about. You know, I just got to be blunt and I got to be honest with you guys. That's also a fight nobody cares about. So that's not the same as a fight that globally you got Tyson Fury, who's from the UK. So he represents a certain demographic and a certain country. And then you have an American star in Wilder, who's popular, and you have history there from the first two fights. People don't know what to expect. The styles gel well, right? So there's multiple things at play here. And Eddie Hearn is just sounding super desperate. And he's trying to compare Pulev to AJ. Nobody, that's not even a popular fight. Like, I haven't heard one person even talk about how they can't wait. I've heard people talk about Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, and a lot of PBC schedule, you know, Lomachenko, Teofimo with Top Rank. But I'm not really hearing anyone buzz about this. So you can't compare the logistics of making Wilder Fury 3, which is a trilogy. You know, they're probably going to need a crowd, or they're going to rely on a crowd because there's so much money to lose in a fight like that. Two heavyweights commanding, that were on the Forbes list, commanding a big lofty paycheck. You know, we're talking about different things than a fight like this with Joshua Pulev that no one even really cares about, with no history other than Pulev pulling out a couple years ago when they were scheduled to fight. I don't know. It just sounds like Eddie Hearn's lost his mind, in my opinion. He's just always meddling in other people's affairs. It's really old. We'll see what happens. I don't think Wilder Fury 3, if it gets canceled, I don't think it has anything with Eddie Hearn. And, you know, he's talking about Tyson Fury fighting in his backyard. But that, it just sounds like clout chasing because, again, Tyson Fury is represented by Frank Warren and ESPN. How do you know they want? Why? Like, Tyson, just listen to what I'm saying, people. Smash the like button. Tyson Fury is with Top Rank, ESPN, and also Frank Warren. Frank Warren just challenged all of Eddie Hearn's fighters. And I seen someone who works with Sky Sports and Eddie Hearn basically state that it'll never happen because they feel Frank Warren is sabotaging their events or something like that. So they're not even really responding to that. And he thinks that a champion like Tyson Fury, who has the Ring Magazine belt and the WBC belt, wants to fight in his backyard. To the B side, Dillian Whyte, who's been waiting 1,200 days or whatever. Why would the champion have to fight on your terms in your backyard? Do you see how delusional that sounds? Like, even if Tyson Fury, let's say Wilder Fury 3 had some issues being made and Tyson Fury had to fight as mandatory at Dillian Whyte. Why not a neutral territory? Why not on, you know, Tyson Fury's preferred studio venue, you know, if there's no crowd or whatever? Why would it be that was just stupid to say. Why would the champion come fight on the rival promoters, even if the fight was going to happen? Why would he fight in the rival promoter's backyard? That, it just doesn't even sound realistic. So once again, Eddie Hearn trying to make the conversation about himself. I'll keep you guys updated to see what's next, but I don't think that Eddie Hearn's opinion on what should happen really has any bearing on what will happen. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, "Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Come and watch my fight." Floyd Mayweather, "Easy work. I'm rich." And Manny Pacquiao, "Yes, it's up to my promoter." Just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.